Find the average rate of change for g of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. All right, so let's look at example A. It says from -1 to 1. So we want to plug in -1 and 1 into the function and then plug those values into our formula for the average rate of change. All right, so let's start by doing g of -1 to see what that would give you. Well, it'll simply be -1 quantity squared minus 2 times -1 plus 1. And then when you evaluate that, -1 squared is just 1. -2 times -1 is a positive 2, and then plus 1, you end up with just 4. Then we'll evaluate g of 1. For g of 1, you just plug in positive 1, so it'll be 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 1. And that, of course, will give you 1 minus 2 plus 1. That's going to be 1 plus 1, or 2 minus 2, which is going to end up giving you 0. All right, so we have our two values. Now, from there, we plug those into our formula. So basically, we're going to do g of b minus g of a over b minus a. And what that means in this specific example is simply g of 1 minus g of -1 over 1 minus -1. And that, of course, will give you, well, we said g of 1 was just 0, right? That's what we found here. And then we said that minus g of -1, we said was 4. So we'll put a 4 here. And then we have 1 plus 1 in the denominator, right? So 1 plus 1. So our final answer is -4 over 2, or -2. And that's the average rate of change for g of x from -1 to 1. All right, let's do the same for example B. So first we want to evaluate g of 3, and then we want to evaluate g of 0. So g of 3 would be 3 squared minus 2 times 3 plus 1. And that's basically going to be 9 minus 6 plus 1. And that, of course, will give you 9 minus 6, which is 3, plus 1 is 4. If we plug in g of 0, we end up having 0 squared minus 2 times 0 plus 1. And then, of course, that will just give you 1 because 0 squared is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. We're left with just 1. All right, so with those in mind, let's go ahead and do the g of b minus g of a thing, right? So if we have g of b minus g of a over b minus a, for this example, that's going to be g of b, which we said would be 4, right? We said that was 4, minus g of a, which we said was 1, all over b minus a, in this case, 3 minus 0. So 4 minus 1 is 3, 3 minus 0 is 3, so the final answer is just 1. So the average rate of change for g of x from 0 to 3 is 1. All right, let's finish up with example C then. So we're going to do g of 4 first. So g of 4 would be 4 squared minus 2 times 4 plus 1. That's 16 minus 8 plus 1. That's going to be 16 minus 8, which is 8 plus 1 gives you 9. All right, so g of 4 is 9. And then if we do g of 3, well, we actually already did that last time. Let's just redo it again, though. It'll be 3 squared minus 2 times 3 plus 1. And so that'll be 9 minus 6 plus 1. Or in other words, 9 minus 6 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So we have 4 for the answer for g of 3. All right, from here we're going to plug that into our g of b minus g of a expression, right? So g of b minus g of a over b minus a. And for us, that's going to be 9 minus 4 all over 4 minus 3. Well, 9 minus 4, of course, is 5, and 5 over 4 minus 3 is going to be 5 over 1, or in other words, the answer is just 5. So for C, the average rate of change for g of x is 5 from 3 to 4.